Greasy woman spears, for sure.
Excuse me. Did you
There's free water upstairs.
I hear Adriana's walking.
I brought some tissues in case it was emotional.
Test one, two. The levels. Good evening, I am Juanqui, and welcome to my world. Yes. It's a cornucopia of stuff. It was a cornucopia of stuff yesterday, and the day before, 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 and we can just continue all the way until 2025 December. Okay? I go live every single night. You just never know what kind of video you're going to get out of me. But for the month of March, we will be doing Advice Corner and we will be doing confessions. This is their confessions. But today we're going to be doing somebody seeking advice. Okay. This young man is a Generation X, a Gen X. What's a Gen X? Drop a bomb on the Gen X. What age range is the Gen X? If anybody knows, I can put it down there. If not, I'll ask the Google later on. But this Gen X wanted to ask advice from total strangers about how to deal with his aging mother. Drop a bomb on that. Insane. If it sounds like I'm being a judgy person, I am. But I'll just bless you with the words that he wrote. It's entitled, How Do You Fill Your Days with Your Aging Parent? Dear fellow Gen Xers. Maybe that explains everything, the fact that he's a Gen X, right? Dear fellow Gen Xers, would love your thoughts and advice on this one. I'm a 54-year-old guy. Okay, so a Gen X is in the 50s. Okay, got it. I'm a 54-year-old guy, and my 87-year-old mom recently went into assisted living. I'm an only child with no family of my own, and my dad has passed. That's very telling right there. 54, no family of his own. But let's continue. Let's get back into the text. Excuse me. So it's mom and me. So it's just mom and me. Mom lives in North Carolina, and I'm on the other side of the country in Nevada. We're not super close. Nothing bad ever happened. We're just very different people. Different perspectives and different priorities in life. We talk on the phone about 45 minutes every other week, and that pretty much keeps us up to date on each other's lives. Here's my question. If I go visit her in North Carolina, I'm struggling to work out what we do all day or how we fill the time. There are no direct flights, so I'm all day in transit on each end. I'd have to stay in a hotel as her place is too small, and I'd want to stay 3 to 4 days minimum to make the trip worthwhile. I hope you're listening to the words that this 54-year-old single without a family man is using to describe his time with his mother. Let me back it up again. Here's my question. If I go visit her in North Carolina, I'm struggling to work out what we do all day or how we'll fill the time. There are no direct flights, so I'm all day in transit on each end. I'd have to stay in a hotel as her place is too small, and I'd want to stay 3 to 4 days minimum to make the trip worthwhile. I run my own business in Nevada, so this has quite a bit of opportunity to cost to make the trip, let alone the hard time and expenses. Drop a bomb on the complaining. And now he proceeds breaking all sorts of HIPAA laws. Here we go. She's had both knees replaced and can walk for maybe a mile or so before needing a long break. I don't want to be a bad son. Kind of late for that. And never visit. But I'm literally struggling for how we pass the time for several days. Just sit around and watch TV? Go out to eat or eat in her residence? I think we'll have a really good 45-minute conversation, and then I'm not sure what comes next. She does have friends at her place who she has coffee with and plays cards or mahjong. I don't know what that is. Mahjong with, but that's normally only a couple of hours a day. So I guess I could be the third wheel there. The rest of the time, she stays in her apartment and reads or watches TV. I'm super busy and active with my business and life in Nevada, and the thought of just sitting around her apartment for a few days is tough. Thanks for reading this long. Can anyone else identify any advice? Okay, so this is where, his idiot started showing in his writing, because he's making all types of typos. I'm just going to read it the way that he wrote it. It's just words thrown together. Thanks for reading this long. Can anyone else identify any advice on what we should do to pass the time together? Drop a motherfucking bomb on this 54-year-old son with only a single parent on this earth who is 87 years old, and he is complaining about spending time with his mother. You know how, and I don't care how I sound right now, but sometimes you hear things and you can already put a race onto it. You could already put a race onto it. I can already picture this 54 Gen Xer. Okay? First of all, he's making it sound like it's a job or a chore. Like this is going out of his way. My suggestion to you is keep your ass in Nevada. Don't visit your mother. Keep your fucking ass in Nevada. Y'all were never that close anyway, according to you. By your own text and your own writing, y'all were never that close anyway. The thought of you sitting around enjoying the last years of your mother on earth has you feeling all stressed out, pulling your hair out of your roots, right? You're your own businessman, your own boss, and you just cannot figure out how you're going to make 4 days work. My husband, the Incredible Hulk, calls him trash, and I happen to agree. But what followed, what followed after his post was a parade of stupid. More people co-signing, more people trying to entertain the idea of perhaps you could bring your laptop and work from her studio. Drop a bomb on that. This is the shit that they say. I've heard all my life. I've heard the importance of having kids. I personally don't care for no goddamn kids. I don't. I raise all of my siblings. Pretty much raised all of my siblings. So I've had the experience of the diaper changing and the burping and the colic and the Humphreys underneath the tongue of the diarrhea, explosive diarrhea. I've had every sibling of mine diarrhea right on my shirt. Vomit. Okay. Ooh, and then that formula milk, when it comes back out, it just stinks. You have to just go in the shower. I've had them throw up on my hair. I've had them pee on me, in the middle of the night. Like I've done the whole thing. And then you get people saying, gay men, they're killing the lineage because since they can't have any kids, and who's gonna take care of you at the end. This is a motherfucking perfect example. In his eyes, he's a successful individual because he owns his own business, right? He's 54 years old, but has no family of his own. Drop a bomb on that. Don't come out onto the streets of the internet asking for advice, white man, because I sense it. Okay, I sense it. Wouldn't be a Puerto Rican and Dominican, tell you that much. Wouldn't be a black man treating his mother that way, tell you that much. Don't come onto the streets of the internet painting this picture about, oh, we've never been so close. Okay, so what's the reason for it? If you really wanted some good feedback, some good advice, you need to really paint the picture. Not, oh, we just have differences of opinion. Bitch, differences of opinion is I hate sushi versus I love sushi. Okay? That's a difference of opinion. Now, perhaps his mother was an abuser. Perhaps his mother is or was the abuser. And abuse comes in all sorts of ways. Perhaps she wasn't supportive. Perhaps she was running the streets until she found herself and found God and, cleaned up herself. But he didn't paint that picture, right? He said nothing major, just difference of opinion. Okay, so she likes ice cream and you lactose intolerant. So that's the difference of opinion right there to me. Which makes you look even more trash. To think that you actually have to have an agenda plan to go see your 87-year-old mother who's in a home, that in itself, across country. So if there's an emergency or anything, we have to schedule you on the Delta flight. We got to make sure the flight attendants are clocked in, that they left their Airbnbs in charge, and that the dog is taken care of, and they driven to the airport and they're clocking in. And the Delta flight attendants from coast to coast. Okay, we got to do all of that before we can get you to your 87-year-old mother while she's taking her last breath. Drop a bomb on that. Couldn't be me. I need to be just a radius of less than 3 hours away from anybody who I truly care and truly love. It's just what it is. It's just absolutely what. And then the gravy on top, the cherry and everything, the sprinkle on top. He wants us strangers to design an itinerary on how he should spend his time, which he sees once a year with his mother. To make it worthwhile, he prefers to go there for 3 to 4 days. But the thought of sitting in a room with his 87-year-old mom has him going bananas. Sir, stay the fuck home. Stay the fuck home. Because if that's the energy that you're walking into to go see your mom at her assisted living facility, it's going to come through. It's going to come through. The way you interact with the staff, the way you interact with her, just your aura, your energy. And an 87-year-old woman does not need to be faced with that. She already knows you don't care for her, given the fact that you only visit her once a week and you call her every other day, every other week to talk to her for 45 minutes and catch up. It wouldn't be me. It cannot be me. I speak to my mom and my dad and my son every single fucking day. And if we don't talk per se, like hello, hi, we are on a family group chat. Sometimes I got to mute them because I'm in the office and it's just tring, 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 tring. It's so many of us that there's always, every half hour, there's a message coming in with a picture of what they're doing, what they're eating, where they at, gossip from their jobs, all of that. So sometimes I have to mute it during my business hours. But everybody knows, if you need me, just ring. Just ring. I have a special ringtone for everybody and all that. Now, the parade of stupid and people who wanted to encourage this and giving him, their opinions and all that, went through. And then he came back and did they call them edits. It's not really an edit. He just put an additional note. He says, wow, 100,000 views and over 200 comments. I sincerely thank you to everyone. I'm sorry. Wow, 100,000 views and over 200 comments. A sincere thank you to everyone who took the time to post thoughtful, considerate, and or personal responses. I'm sorry I couldn't respond to each one individually. There are so many good ideas here. I hope I'm not the only one who can benefit from them. Delusional. Now he's giving the acceptance speech. Okay, his post has now garnered 100,000. He feels like he has gone viral with this trash, which is stupidity. With this stupidity, he goes on to say, it's complicated. Relationships between adult children and their parents. So please, everyone, be kind to each other and never judge. We rarely know the whole story. Then why the fuck you come out here asking us for advice if you're going to masquerade, disguise, omit, and not give us all of the information so we can give you a complete assessment and therefore complete advice? I don't do these things to come out and judge, but I don't have a problem with motherfucking judging. It's one of the reasons why I love criminal justice so much. I don't think, when it comes down to judging, I don't have a problem with judging as long as it's fair and it's in the interest of, the greater good. Classifications and labels, I'm not concerned about that either. We need to have organized situations. I need to know what's what. I need to know where things go. This is just how I am and who I am. I believe that you can do all of that and still, coming from a place of yes and a good nourished environment. You know what I mean? But this right here really took me out. You want to know how many people will give the richest of the richest, their happiness, whatever it is, to spend just a few hours with a deceased parent that hasn't been around for years, to just be in the room with them, not even have to say anything, just to experience them. You know how many people will give what they don't have to have that ability? And here we have a white 54 single businessman, okay, who is concerned about his time. How is he going to spend the time? Is it going to be worth his while to go see his mother once a year at the home? This quickly reminded me. There was one moment of my life where I worked for a place that was being outsourced by Life Alert. I don't know if people know what Life Alert is. They used to have the commercial where the old people had a little gadget around their neck and also on their like nightstands. And if they fell or if there was a fire, they needed some assistance, they pull on that little pendulum, and then I will come through like the voice of God. And I will be like, "Hi, Maria, are you okay? Do you need assistance? Hay fuego. ¿Qué te pasa, Maria?" And then, I did that for a good month. And because it was a call center. I was doing midnights to 8 a.m. somewhere in Long Island City, Queens. And I was doing the damn thing. I was get this money. It was one of my many jobs while I was going to school. I did that for a month. After a month, it was hard work because, I was hearing people literally crying, screaming, dying on the other line. Okay? Nothing prepares you to hearing that, especially as a young person. I was younger back then. So hearing all of that was kind of rough. We also had the people that will call. They will call and they just wanted to hear a voice. We had a lady that used to call the call center every morning by 8 a.m. She will call in just to say hi to us. Because she had nobody to come visit her. Nobody was with her. And then on the flip side, then so because we were if there was an emergency, we had to call 911 and then call the emergency contact, which would be a son, a daughter, somebody assigned to them. For the most part, people would be responsive, and they will, we would get the 911 out there, the fire department, whatever. And this is for the entire country. This was like a call center that handled the entire country. So, but you had children that, the parent will hit the button. Oh, can you please call so and so? Call them. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna call them now. And then so we will call them, and I've literally have heard people say, "Is she dead yet? She not dead yet? Don't call me until she dies. Okay? Don't call me unless she's dead." That's literally what I will hear. Like we've had people say that on the phone. She calling again? No, just like that. It's just so sad. So sad. Like I said, I did that job for a month because I was then quickly promoted to another unit of Life Alert, which maybe I'll do a story time on that one day. But reading this post from this Gen X 54-year-old single male complaining about his 87-year-old mother brought me back to those times. And now going back to, they're saying, oh, gay people are, killing the lineage. And, don't you want to have a kid? Don't you want to have a kid? What's going to happen when you get old? This is the perfect example. Just because you have kids don't mean they're going to fucking take care of you when you get old. Okay? I've seen it over and over and over, where parents have been there for their kids, and then the kids grow up and they become something else, and they don't, again, like the person at the Life Alert, don't call me until she dead. So that whole thing, oh, your kids are supposed to take care. Yeah, they're supposed to. You're supposed to honor your parent. How many actually do it? Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for listening to the rant and the advice. If you have some advice, put it down on the box below. I often tag these people and I start shit. I go back and I put the link of the video with me ranting and reading them. Oh, yes. Yes. Hopefully I won't get my account suspended one day at the other place. But that's what I do, because they asked for my advice and I'm here to give it. Ridiculousness. What am I going to do with her for a couple of days to make it worth my while? Just stay home. Stay the fuck home. Don't bring that energy to that poor woman. She's your mother. She's going to be able to tell you don't want to be there. You're going to have an attitude. You're going to be on your laptop. You're going to be all of that. But spending the precious remaining time, 87, first of all, she getting up there. Okay? She's more casket ready than enjoying the best years of her life. Okay? Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I go live every single night. We will be back tomorrow to discuss another. Maybe I'll do a confession. This is their confessions tomorrow night. Have a good night. The weather got really nice and salacious. People were walking outside. The girls had the little skimpy outfits on. I could see the bottom of their titties, that little round area. Soon, the girls are going to be showing the little bottom of their butts and stuff. And it's going to be very nasty. So nasty and so rude. So nasty and so rude. She was so nasty and so rude. All right, I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a good night. Peace.